Hey guys, what's up? I really don't like the fact that every time I do this recording at night, everything looks yellow. Granted, it's because of the yellow walls, as my wife pointed out to me, but seriously, you know what? There, that's better. Um, anyway, I've been meaning to do this video because this topic has been on my mind lately. Um, and also because of some recent videos that have been coming out, particularly some interesting ones to a particular misguided individual. Um, by the skeptical heretic, he's not the misguided individual. He was responding to a misguided individual. And by the way, if you haven't subbed to his channel yet, you really need to do so. I should have found that channel sooner. But anyway, watching those videos reminded me that this topic has been on my mind, so I might as well spit it out, do a video on it. I'm sure a lot of you guys out there, are concerned with a lot of the vitriol that has been spreading around the world lately. There's a lot of unrest, it seems, and there's some really strong pushes by right-wing extremists and fundamentalists, the conservative persuasion. They're all, making this concentrated push to try to force things back to the way they think things should be, and they're making a hell of a lot of noise, even to the point of, committing, egregious acts of violence. And it can be pretty disheartening. So for those of you who are concerned about these type of things, especially those of you who, identify with certain movements that were designed to make the world a more egalitarian place, a place where all human beings can get the rights and dignity that they all deserve, I have some good news for you. I know with all this doom and gloom around, it's probably like, what fucking good news could there possibly be? Now, I got good news. The good news is that you're winning. Yeah. Seriously, if you're one of those people who are, you're for logic and reason to be the rule of the day rather than suspicion and fear and superstition, if you are a feminist who's trying to fight for equal rights for all women, if you are somebody fighting for the rights of all gay people to be treated like human beings, if you're somebody fighting for the rights of blacks or Chinese or Asians or basically anyone who's being discriminated against simply because of who they are and not getting the full rights as human beings in the society they're living in, if you're any of those people trying to make the world a better place for everyone involved and not just for a privileged few, you're winning. How can I say this? Well, the fact that these, fundamentalist types and extreme right-wing types have been resisting you so violently recently is proof that you're winning. Because if you weren't gaining any ground, they wouldn't feel so threatened. Think about it. Before, when you guys were marginalized, and when there were certain people enjoying privileges that other people couldn't get because of the culture that you were living in, them thinking that, well, this is just the way things are. There's nothing wrong with our society. It's great. Everything's free. This is a free, equal society. Hey, you're not supposed to be over there. You get over there. Yeah, this is a nice, equal society. Back when it was like that, and a few people started making protests, most of the time it was ignored. Just squash those troublemakers. Everybody knows what a good acting citizen is like. You troublemakers, except for those few troublemakers over there, especially in this particular country, they would paint them as un-American somehow. Despite the fact that this is a country where many of the rights we enjoy were gotten because of resisting the status quo, not going along with it. But whatever. Before when people were trying to fight for those rights, you just look at those crazy, quirky people, ignore them. But now you guys are gaining ground because you're getting more and more people to wake up and realize, hey, we're not supposed to be treating people equally. Yeah, there is no reason why these people should be mistreated. Yeah, it really doesn't doesn't make any sense to continue to hold on to a whole lot of outdated ideas that not only have been doing a great deal of harm to humanity, but quite frankly don't even make any freaking sense. As that's being accepted more and more, the old abusive ways are gaining less and less ground. And those who hold on to those ways and don't want to see that go away are now scared because they're realizing they're losing. And as with any animal that is threatened with death, they're now reacting violently. They're finally oh shit, when you hear them saying stuff like, we're losing the country, there's no more moral foundation, that's signs that you guys are winning. They wouldn't be so concerned if you guys hadn't gained a major foothold. Now, to be fair, a lot of these people who are doing this aren't necessarily evil people. A lot of the people at the head of it, yeah, sure, we can probably paint them with that brush, according to the ethics that we happen to follow, but a lot of them are just simply scared. You have to understand that they were raised a certain way, or they were brought up or indoctrinated in a certain way to view the world. They were told to view the world in a specific type of sphere. There's a certain paradigm that they were taught. This is the way the world is, and if you act this way in this world, you are a good person. And as long as you don't deviate from that, you are an upstanding human being, worthy of whatever rewards that this particular ideology promises you. Whether it's an eternal life of, pleasure in heaven, or riches in the society you're living in, or being an upstanding citizen or smart intellectual, whatever it is that they're sapping to say that this is the way the world should be, and as long as you continue to maintain that, yeah, you're a great human being. And that's all they know. Now they're seeing a world that is drastically changing all around them. Changing into a way that they were told would be, the end of life on Earth. Would be the complete downfall of human society, and they are fucking terrified. So of course they are going to fight tooth and nail to defend it. Before it would be like, these guys are just nuts, we can just ignore them, they're a small little smidgen. But now they're seeing more and more people accepting these views that run contrary to theirs. They're seeing their children and other youth of society accepting views that are contrary to theirs. And they're even beginning to see their own peers, people their age, who are like, these people have a point. Maybe what we were doing is wrong. Maybe there is something. Maybe our ways of looking at the world were unfounded. Maybe we were lied to. It scares them half to death, especially if they're not willing to change. Human beings don't like change anyway. But when you have built your entire life around a particular ideology, and now the ideology is falling apart around you, and it's all you have, you will fight tooth and claw to hold on to it like a crackhead rushing for that last bottle of crack. You don't want it to go. So they are going to react violently, especially since they see they are losing ground. You want to know how desperate they are? I mean, for those of you who are like, really, we're winning? I mean, all this horrible shit that, the extra mounted attacks, the increasing angriness of the right in this country, the shootings that were going on in Europe, those poor people in that camp when that nut went off and killed all those kids and stuff. You mean, that's proof that we're winning? Well, think of it this way. They're desperate. When these people are grabbing their kids and forcing them to go to a camp where they're going to be indoctrinated with hardcore religious ideals to keep them from accepting so-called evil outside influences, you're winning. When you hear stories about how Brazil is trying to come up with a heterosexual pride parade to counter the gay pride parade because they think that the heterosexual one is there to protest these special privileges that gay people have got, you're winning. When these people are so desperate to keep the truth from children that they're going to change the history books and change erase certain facts from the textbooks in order to force them to believe only their particular view of the world and history, you're winning. They are so desperate, they will do anything they possibly can to marginalize you guys, because they fear you now. That's how you know you're winning. So, yeah, like I said, it's good news. But this also means that now you really have to dig your heels in, because they are desperate now. And since they are desperate, they're going to get violent. So you can't screw this up now. This is where the battle really begins. All that stuff that you guys went through before, yes, it was hard. It was harsh shit. Getting your foot through the door, yeah, is painful. Whole lot of shit with that. I'm not trying to, belittle any of the past sufferings at all. But now that they see they have a whole lot to lose, they're really going to come after you. And if you've been paying attention to many of these particular movements, you'll see that there have been some setbacks recently in certain areas. Just ask feminists who are dealing with the with abortion rights in the United States. They'll tell you they got a whole lot of fighting to do. It sort of reminds me a little bit of when Malcolm X was criticizing blacks when they were celebrating getting that first black senator into the government. People were jumping up and down like, yes, we got one. And he's like, people, we don't have anywhere near the amount we're supposed to have. We're supposed to be representatives. How many blacks are in this country and you only got one in and you're celebrating? You don't celebrate until the war is over. That's my message to you guys. Don't celebrate just yet till the war. Yeah, you're gaining ground. Good news. They're running scared now. They're doing whatever they can to marginalize you guys and trying to make you guys look evil. Atheists are getting slammed by Christians. Christians trying to paint them as devil worshippers. Feminists are being painted as feminazis. Gay people are being told they had a secret agenda to warp people's minds. Yeah, there's a lot of heat coming down on you, but that heat wouldn't be coming down on you if you guys weren't winning. If you weren't waking people up. But yeah, this means now you really have to guard your grill. Get them dukes up and be prepared to slug it out. It's gotta be done. And don't fuck this up, guys. Because there's really, at this point, like I said, you're winning, but I didn't say you're guaranteed to win. Because there have been a lot of movements in the past that started out great and ended up getting fucked up for one of two reasons. One, you gave up when you were supposed to, you got lax when you weren't supposed to, and wiped off. Or two, you fucked up. What do I mean by fuck up? Well, sort of reminds me of the Lord of the Rings. No, hear me out. Seriously, I'm going somewhere with this. In the Lord of the Rings, whether you read the books or whether you just watch the movies or both or whatever, there's this great evil that they're all trying to vanquish, Sauron. And even though they got to deal with him and his orcs and the mighty armies and, there's this obvious war they have to fight, there was something subtle going on the sidelines. They're all fighting him, but they realized the only way to truly get rid of the monster was to get rid of the ring, which the great evil had created in the first place. This one powerful ring that supposedly, whoever had their hands on it would wield ultimate power, but at a cost. This ring had to be destroyed. And throughout the story, there were so many people who were like thinking, well, if we had the ring, we could use it against him and use all that power and turn it against him, and then we could do some good with it. It's never worth it. You don't want to wear the ring. That's how you fuck up. What do I mean by, the ring? I mean, that's a fantasy story. So how do you relate that in real life? Well, in this case, it's like fighting fire with fire. Remember, you guys are you're trying to fight for an egalitarian society. I personally consider many of you guys groups, despite the fact that you're fighting for different rights, it's really the same rights. You're just fighting for human rights for human beings. You want all human beings to be treated as human beings and to get the same rights as other human beings. You want the same sovereignty that other human beings get in that society. So that means that what you're really fighting against is intolerance and prejudice and bigotry and closed-minded thinking and any type of ideologies that would go against a society that treats all people fairly, which means you cannot use the same tools that allow this to go on. That's the ring. If you ever find yourself going, yeah, we have to be in charge to put these people in their place, you're putting on the ring. Don't put on the ring. That's how you fuck up. That's how a lot of revolutions fail. That's how a lot of movements end up getting die out, and that's how many people later on in history go, see, we knew those people were up to no good. They acted like they were fighting for righteousness, but then look how they ended up. Hateful, spiteful motherfuckers. We were fine doing things the old way, even though the old way was repressive. So you got to make sure not to cross that line. That's how you fuck up. No matter how hateful or how, harsh your enemy gets, don't turn into the monster you're fighting. So, yeah, that's about it. I was going to touch on more in specifics, particularly with all this crap about multiculturalism that I've been hearing lately about how it's an evil thing. despite the fact that all the knowledge we've gotten today wouldn't even have been possible without, the mixing of cultures, but that's a video for another time. So, yeah, I'll just leave it off at that. You guys are winning, okay? Just, this is where you really can't give up now. That's all I wanted to say. That's it. Catch you guys later. Oh, okay, good. You guys are still watching this after the little blurb I had at the end. Good, good. This is for you guys then. My birthday's coming up, as this tends to happen every year. So, just like I did last year, I'm going to do a blog TV again this year. Most likely it's going to be on my birthday, but then again, depending on how things go with my schedule and all that, it, it might be a little bit before it or a little bit after it. But right now I'm tentatively saying the blog TV is going to be on my birthday, and probably be the only one I do this year unless I'm given good incentive to do another one. So, of course, all the old people who used to be on there, I'd love to see you guys show up again. I would love to see some old people I haven't talked to in a while show up again. But I'm going to be doing this one differently. I know with all the last ones I did, I came in first with a topic in mind to talk about, and then we'd talk about that for a bit, and then after that, we kind of shoot the shit for a bit. I'd share some music and then cut it off. This time I'm going to do it a little bit differently. This time, for you people who are watching this right now, stupid camera, for all you people watching this right now, this time, what I'd like you guys to do is give me questions. It's moving again. Give me questions. The best ones, or the ones I think are the most interesting, I'll answer them on the blog TV, and then we can go on from there with questions. The reason why I'd rather you give me the questions now rather than just right at the blog TV is, for those of you who've been in my blog TVs, you know how many freaking trolls and assholes tend to show up. And while I will have the moderators in force with the banhammers, I'd just rather get the questions now. Especially if any trolls who are watching this right now decide to go and troll, then I'll know exactly who they are, and then we can ridicule them and then, make fun of the questions or whatever. But if there's anything in particular you guys want to ask me, or if there's a particular topic you wanted me to touch on during that blog TV, give me the question in a PM or something, in a PM. It's probably best in a PM. And I'll go through them. If I can answer the question, it's not like I'm a freaking living encyclopedia. If I'm capable of answering that question, I will. If I can't, I'll tell you I can't move on. If I can at least kind of touch on it and try to open up a dialogue with it, I will. But yeah, that's tentatively what I want to do. So, yeah. That's it. See you guys later.